I really do believe everyone should have at least like partly digital income. I just feel like it is so easy to set up and sell, especially in today's day and age with AI. Yet so many people don't have an online business yet. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, the show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. Don't get me wrong, I don't think everyone is made to be an online entrepreneur. I think online business is a little bit overrated. People think online business equals passive income, which is not the case. Online business is just a way of running business. But I do think, especially for a lot of solopreneurs, having at least partly some online income that might not be directly correlated to your time investment, or that can continue to run even when you are, ill or having a baby or whatever, like it could just really benefit you. Obviously, I'm biased. I've been running an online business for years. I love my clients. I love being able to work remotely, work from home. I love especially that I get to have an idea, set it up and sell it all within 24 hours because I don't need to buy stock and stuff. There's just so much I love about online business. Yet I see so many people who want to have an online business or make more impact, and they don't do it, or they just go about it the wrong way. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the biggest mistakes people make when starting their online business that could very easily be avoided. And of course, I'm not going to lie, I made many of these mistakes too, which is what puts me in the best position to talk you through it, because I don't judge. I'm just here hoping to inspire you to get cracking on that online income. Let's dive in. I remember many years ago, it was Christmas time. I was still running my fitness business. I was only just starting out online because I'd started my business fully offline. I was in high demand, Christmas break, and I had an idea for a new product that I would launch during the holidays. By the way, if you ever have an idea like that, just like quick check. Do people actually want to pay attention during the holidays? It depends on what you're selling. Just like checking when you're launching something and the time frame, always really good. Because I didn't have a lot of plans during the holidays, which is usually the exception. A lot of people actually have a lot of things they need to do during that time frame. But I digress. Let's go back to baby Amy, who was just starting out with her online business. I'd been reading up on online business models, and I saw so many people post about how wonderful it was to have an online income, and I wanted that too. But more importantly, I'd had an amazing idea that I really wanted to sell, and I really wanted to help people. And it was a food freedom ebook that I'd wanted to make about like how to get through the holidays without, feeling bad in your skin, basically. And so I spent days and days, I think in my PJs, just like locked up in my office / bedroom, creating this ebook, right? And I made it way too big. I didn't talk about it online. Then once I'd finally finished the ebook, I finally set up a little Shopify checkout or whatever, I don't even remember. And I put it online on a day that probably everyone was doing something else. And I barely got any sales. And I was so disappointed because I really thought online business was going to be the holy grail. And this was going to do so well. And I ended up getting a few sales, but not what I'd expected. And like 6 sales in total after working on this for days and days. 2 of those 6 sales were my brothers. And I was just so disappointed. And this was a make or break moment for me. This was either the moment where I would give up or I would get better at online sales. I decided to go for the second part, and I decided to look at what did I do wrong? Why did this not sell well? And I realized quickly that I'd made a couple of really key mistakes. One, I'd created a product before knowing if anyone actually wanted that product, because it's not because I know people need something and they need to know about certain things as an expert that they actually want it. So this is a really important check. Often as experts or as people who have a lot of experience in a certain thing we do, we kind of just assume because we see this is something people need, that this also means that people will want it, but needing and wanting are not the same case. So this is the first thing I would recommend you always check, is do some polls, talk to your audience, do market research. Now with AI, that's easier than ever. And figure out if this is actually something people want. Because needing something is not always enough to buy it, because if you don't know why you need it yet, or if there's no want or desire yet, chances are people aren't going to buy it. So I did no market research. Mistake number one. Second mistake, I'd already made the product, which is the only and last time I've ever done that. Since that big fail, I've never created a product anymore before I've actually sold it. Ever since then, I've started doing pre-order launches. And with pre-order launches, I get to do market research. I get to build up a wait list, which gives me an indication of how many people are interested. And I get to sell and then get paid to make the product, all before I've ever just started creating the product. And this is something I highly recommend you do too. I think this is the number one biggest mistake, because it kind of just implies a lot of other mistakes, is never already make the product. First, make sure people are actually going to pay for it, and then get paid to make the product. This is my number one hack for online business, and the beauty of online business as well, by the way. Third mistake is I didn't market the creation process. So I was there in my PJs working hard on a product, and I knew what I was making and I knew how much effort was going into it. But all of those days and weeks that I spent on, fine-tuning the cover and outlining the curriculum and typing it all out, because again, this was before ChatGPT existed. You had to actually create your own ebooks. I didn't market any of that. I didn't show any behind the scenes. I didn't take people with me into what their curriculum should look like, the colors, how I was going to deliver it, if it had to include a video or not. If you're not marketing your creation process, you're losing out on a whole lot of marketing. And this is also the biggest mistake I see people making. So basically this entire episode, every mistake is the biggest mistake. And if you're confused of how to do that, if you're not even used to creating content, just literally take a photo of your computer of what you're making and be like, I'm creating this, exciting, scary, or time-lapse yourself as you're working on it, or post a poll, left or right, which cover do you like best, which title do you like best, would you be interested in this? Use your market research as the lead up to actually creating and launching your product, which is really going to help you. I know you're thinking, but Amy, I thought you said shouldn't make the product before I start selling it. True, but you can get started on the format of the product to kind of see if people are interested. So combine your market research with warming up your audience. This is really going to help you warm them up so they're ready to buy when your waitlist and your pre-order drops. Then the fourth biggest mistake, assuming you did everything else correctly, and you already took a couple of these pointers. I see this actually a lot with my clients who actually do a lot well, and then they finally have their launch day and they launch, and then they might get a couple of sales in, and then they're like crickets. Then they don't know what to do. They don't have a sales plan for after the initial drop, which, look at yourself. When you buy something, do you always immediately buy, or do you need a couple of reminders to buy? This is why we need a sales plan, because our clients, they don't wake up thinking about us. They don't go to bed thinking about us. We might think they do, and this might give us a lot of imposter syndrome or fear of failure or fear of success, but people actually don't wake up thinking about you. They don't go to sleep thinking about you. So if you want them to buy from you, to buy your products from you, be those that could be digital products, physical services, doesn't matter. You actually have to make sure they see them multiple times. So this means when you start a pre-order launch, for example, you actually have to have a little bit of a sales plan of when you'll be communicating what. A couple of ideas, by the way. If you don't know what to talk about when you're selling, talk about why you created the product, talk about what it is, talk about who it's for, talk about how it works, talk about frequently asked questions, talk about objections. These are all different days of content that you can do, and you can also blend them all in together. Don't forget to include some fear of missing out so people buy quickly. That means, add a bonus or urgency, scarcity, stuff like that. But make sure you have a sales plan, because just opening your cart is not a strategy. And when you have a sales plan and a content plan to follow, it's going to give you confidence because you won't be like, oh, I'm not going to send out another email because I'm afraid people won't buy it. You'll just be more confident because you know you just need to follow the plan. By the way, I'm going to be hosting a training, a very exclusive training for the very first time about how to make 1K. So how to make your first 1,000 online without having a product set up, without having a big audience, without having the system set up. And I'm going to show you my exact framework as to how I launch every single product I've ever made, well, except for that first one, successfully, and sell it out and, not only get heaps of clients in, but also make really good money from it. So if you want access to my training, this is going to be live only. All you need to do is go to my Instagram account, FastForwardAmy, and DM me 1K. So that's the number 1 and then the K from Kappa, 1K, like 1,000, but 1K. If you DM me that, all one word, 1K, I'm going to message you the sign-up link, the invite for my training. It's going to be wild because I'm going to show you how you can get started making money online and, helping people with whatever is in your brain without actually having to have an audience or a product or tons of experience or difficult tech systems. It's going to be genius. So make sure you don't miss out on that. And I'll also link the training in the description here. Which brings us to the 5th and final mistake of this episode. And I think, this could be a whole other episode, but you're waiting to feel ready instead of starting messy. You need to give yourself permission to fail. You need to give yourself permission to start messy. You need to give yourself permission to even make mistakes I've recommended you don't make. Because when you are trying to feel confident first, when you're trying to figure everything out before you launch it, you're going to be waiting forever because confidence actually comes from taking action. The mindset follows the action, not the other way around. So you don't need to know everything. Not every system needs to be perfect. You don't know exactly how everything should be and blah, 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 blah. Done messy is really better than perfect never. I wrote this down, but I said it the wrong way. Done messy is better than perfect never, which is basically done is better than perfect never, because this is the whole thing that I believe in and that I didn't know when I did that first online product launch. I didn't realize that, I was never going to be able to figure out how to do it perfectly if I didn't get feedback. I was never going to be able to theoretically figure out how to do a perfect launch and position the perfect product without getting feedback, without trying, without taking action. So you're trying to feel confident first. You're waiting for the mindset to be there. You're waiting for you to feel ready, but you are never going to feel ready. So give yourself permission to start messy because the actual confidence will come from taking action. Okay, let's go through the different mistakes that we looked at. First of all, I forgot about one. Did I talk about 3 or 4? I'm just going to add one more. Another mistake is, by the way, that people tend to make their product way too broad. So you make it too big, too overwhelming. I did that too with my first ebook. I was like, I need to tackle everything, but you don't need to tackle everything in your product, because when you have a really bloated product, the transformation is going to be really unclear. So make it a little bit more narrow. Solve one problem first instead of trying to solve everything. And also because this isn't going to be your only product ever, right? So make sure you focus on one problem, one solution, instead of creating a really confusing, really broad offer. This is going to sell way better, especially when it's your first product. Okay, going through this. Creating the product before people know you're creating the product is a big mistake. Basically, what we talked about is not doing any market research is not good. And then the second mistake is actually also that you've already created the product before you've actually marketed it. Don't do that. Sell it first. Make sure you definitely market the creation process. And a couple of other things that we talked about was make sure you have a sales plan, a content plan. Did we end up with 6 mistakes? I think so. So that you know what to talk about after your cart opens. And then the last 2 were that you should make sure you don't make it too broad and overwhelming, but make it narrow enough Remember, one problem, one solution. And don't forget, you don't have to wait until you feel ready. You can just start messy, and that's where the true confidence is gonna come from. Don't forget to sign up for my training. I know this was a lot in only 14 minutes and just like blah, 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 blah. But in the training, you're gonna get slides, you're gonna get live coaching from me. This training is worth 200 euros. You really don't wanna miss out on it. There's limited live spots, so make sure you go and grab your live spot really quickly through the link in the description, or just DM me the word 1K, number 1, and then the K, all attached, and I'll send you the link to the training. And I'll invite you to come follow along for free. There's not going to be a replay either, but if you do attend live, I'm going to give you the slide deck and some of my formulas. So hope you can make it, and talk soon. Bye.